To achieve success, you must be willing to fail sometimes. From the iPhone to the iMac, the iPad to iTunes, Apple's successes are numerous. However, it's their failings and mistakes that are most interesting. Not just because they're so few, but because they also provide a fascinating insight into the workings of the Cupertino tech giant. Here's 7 of Apple's biggest mistakes. Number 7, the Newton from 1993. This was a precursor to a smartphone or tablet. The Newton was a PDA, a personal digital assistant that offered a stylus input for handwriting recognition. It ran Newton OS and offered note-taking, word processing, a calendar and organizer, calculator, and a simple web browser. It was a genuinely innovative product that was well ahead of its time. However, issues with its touchscreen and an extortionate price of $699 or $1,129 in today's money, the Newton was doomed to failure from the start. Number 6, the iPhone 4 AntennaGate scandal. In July of 2010, some users reported major signal strength issues and dropped calls when touching the lower left edge of their iPhone 4. Apple's response was that users simply shouldn't hold their iPhone that way, which was obviously insufficient and aggravating to most users. Things got ugly on July 2nd when a law firm working on many users' behalf intended to sue Apple and AT&T for fraud by concealment, negligence, and intentional misrepresentation and defective design. While initially Apple played down the problem, stating that the low bars were just an algorithm issue, independent tests by Consumer Reports disproved this and demonstrated that the previous iPhone models had more reliable antennas. The problem could be resolved by some duct tape placed over the area in question. On July 16th, Apple announced that iPhone 4 users could either return their phones or receive a free bumper case that would provide a makeshift solution to the problem. Number 5, the G4 Cube from 2000. The G4 Cube holds a special place in the heart of many Apple fans. Think of it as a cross between a Mac Mini and a Mac Pro in that it has the design simplicity of a Mac Mini but the price of a Mac Pro. It was aimed at the prosumer market with minimal upgrade potential and ridiculously high pricing. The G4 Cube was destined to fail and Apple discontinued it due to poor sales in 2001. Number 4, the iCloud celebrity photo leaks of 2014. Due to a security breach of Apple's iCloud service, almost 500 private photos of various celebrities, with many of them containing nudity, were leaked on various social networks. Obviously, the scandal was embarrassing for not just those celebrities exposed, but also Apple. It raised significant concerns about user privacy when it comes to cloud storage solutions and just how much effort companies are putting into protecting their customers. Number 3, the Apple Lisa from 1983. This was the first commercial PC to use a graphical user interface. Unfortunately, the Lisa didn't perform well and at $10,000 was far too expensive to become successful in the mass consumer market. However, the failure of the Lisa did lead to the development of the iconic Apple Macintosh computer in 1984, which would change the course of the personal computing market forever. Number 2, Apple Maps. While Apple Maps has improved significantly in recent years with the addition of transit information, it simply cannot compete against the establishment that is Google Maps. When Apple Maps was launched in 2012, it suffered from major issues. It was released for iOS 6 and suffered from a lack of clarity and was riddled with errors. What made matters worse was that Apple removed Google Maps from the iPhone and the iPad at the time, which forced users to use Apple Maps. And finally, number 1, the stolen iPhone 4 prototype scandal. In April of 2010, Gizmodo purchased a prototype of the iPhone 4 for $5,000 and conducted a product teardown of it. The model they reviewed had been lost by an Apple employee in a bar in Redwood City, California. Apple's legal team requested Gizmodo return the prototype, and they intended to cooperate. On April 22nd, Apple's disturbingly monolithic corporate power truly came to the fore when they sent REACT, the Rapid Enforcement Allied Computer Team Task Force, to the home of Jason Chen, the Gizmodo editor who'd reviewed the iPhone 4 prototype. They seized all of his computers and hard drives. The raid was criticized as violating journalistic source protection laws that forbid the seizure of journalist computers. This ridiculous overreaction was totally unjustified, given the fact that Gizmodo intended to cooperate few other corporations would be able to solicit such a response from the authorities as Apple did. What makes this even more disturbing is that Apple had already received the iPhone 4 prototype by the time the raid took place. Why do they need to do this? This was mafia-like. So guys, that was my list of Apple's 7 biggest mistakes. Be sure to include any additions of your own in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.